Bogosian, the Executive Director of the National Lawyers Guild.
When confronted with a plutocracy, one that thrives on empire and a flagrant disregard for the law, how are the people to respond? History has shown that when we take to the streets like today, again and again, we can stir the public conscience to act on the side of justice, to stand up and demand that our leadership be held accountable. We are faced with a singular challenge today, a reawakening of a passive public to the atrocities that are now synonymous with the words U.S. government. Secret detentions, extraordinary renditions, waterboarding, secret evidence, torture, murder. With the doctrine of sovereign immunity, we have seen its extension to all government officials and the creation of a two-tiered society. Those above the law and those under the law. Those of us who still cherish that rule of law in this country have a duty to fight for its restoration. As the world superpower, this country wields major influence on other countries. The lawless policies of the Bush administration and now the Obama administration have imperiled our civil liberties and those of others around the world. By waging illegal and immoral invasions on Iraq and Afghanistan, the United States serves as a lawless yet powerful role model to other countries and as an obstructionist force in the future of international cooperation. We must continue to ignite the hearts and minds of Americans. We must not let them forget the unparalleled outrage they felt years ago at seeing those images of Abu Ghraib. We must not let them slip back into complacency as our government wages flagrant abuses on thousands of innocents, all in the name of empire. We must not let this government depersonalize the war crimes we perpetrate daily that benefit big business, but that robs us of jobs, homes, and food. For as long as we allow a campaign of disinformation to continue, we remain complicit in the deliberate horrors perpetrated in the name of empire.
Brothers and sisters, I want to bring up a powerful presentation next. And first, to introduce these powerful high school students that came from New York City, I want to introduce Karina Garcia, a teacher from the Facing History School in New York City.
Hello everybody, my name is Karina Garcia. I am so excited to be here with all of you today, and I'm especially excited to introduce our next speaker, Stephanie Diaz. Stephanie has been working tirelessly with her peers to be here with you today. Stephanie helped raise $2,000 in 2 months to raise money for this trip. That's right. We have 50 students from New York City lined up all the way in the back there. Stephanie went door to door in our schools talking to students about this march. She did a presentation for the entire school. She's an excellent example of the spirit of our youth and the potential for our growing movement. Please welcome Stephanie Diaz.
Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Diaz and I'm a 10th grader at the Facing History School. In November, my classmates and I created a PowerPoint presentation on where we highlighted the amount of money that our country spends on the war, on the people of Iraq, of course. I say people of Iraq because when you drop bombs on an entire country, you're not only just killing terrorists, you're killing innocent families, men, women, and children. We learned that our government spends over $700 million a day on this criminal war at the expense of our public education, at the expense of health care, and at the expense of our communities. Because when the Congress decide that they want to go to war, they do not sign up their children, they do not sign up themselves. They prey on the poor and hardworking class youth who are just looking for decent jobs and promise of education. They prey on students like me to fight their war. Well, I have something to say to them. Go fight your own war.
Good job, girlie.
Keep your military recruiters out of our schools. Bring back our sisters and brothers who are in Iraq and Afghanistan. And if you're too weak or too greedy to listen to the people who voted you into office, then maybe you should find another job. I have one last thing to say before I go. Money for jobs and education, not for war and occupation. Money for jobs and education, not for war and occupation. For jobs and education, not for war and occupation. Se ve, se siente, el pueblo está presente. Se ve, se siente, el pueblo está presente. Se ve, se siente, el pueblo está presente. Thank you.
Sister, the next person I want to bring up to speak to you is Brother Gene Bruskin from U.S. Labor Against the War.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. I bring you greetings from the millions of union members and unions from across the country who are members of U.S. Labor Against the War and oppose this disastrous war in Iraq. I want to also bring you greetings from millions of Iraqi workers who have organized into unions and who is working closely with U.S. Labor Against the War. We have sent delegations to Iraq. We have brought Iraqi workers across this land multiple times to meet face-to-face with U.S. workers. Perhaps the most telling sign of the occupation was that Tsar Bremer, soon after the occupation, when he eliminated every single law on the books of the country of Iraq, he kept one, and that was Saddam Hussein's law denying workers the right to organize, and to this day, that law is on the books of Iraqi legal system. But Iraqi unions have continued to organize despite this law. They have endured violence, raid, arrest, seizing of their offices, both by the Iraqi authorities and the U.S. authorities. But teachers, hotel workers, oil workers, dock workers, factory workers in Iraq have organized. We're in regular touch with them. They are progressive. They are secular. They are against oil nationalization. They are against the oil stealing. They are against privatization. They are a powerful force for the future of Iraq, and we all have to support them. They are inspiring, and they're just like us. They get up every morning and they try to go to work if they can have a job to support their families. If you want to help them, you can go to U.S. Labor Against War, www.US Labor Against War, and find out more about it. U.S. Labor Against the War is now turning our attention to moving the U.S. labor movement to oppose the war in Afghanistan and return the billions and billions of dollars being misspent so that we can have jobs, we can have education, we can have health care. Thank you very much.
One more time for U.S. Labor Against the War. Next, I want to bring up a strong figure in the local movement for peace and justice, Kevin Zeese from Voters for Peace.
Hey everybody, how you doing today? Nice weather for a demonstration. Listen, I want Voters for Peace.us, we like to break some taboos, and the taboo I want to break today is talking about American empire. You ever hear that discussed in the media? The corporate media never acknowledges that we're an empire. And in fact, we are the largest empire in world history. Hundreds of bases around the world, millions of troops, spending as much as the whole world combined. Why don't they discuss empire? Because if people realized we were an empire, they would turn against it. If the American people understood what an empire is and what it's doing to our economy, what it's doing to our democracy, what it's doing to our law, they would say no to empire, no to militarism, and no to war. Let me say on empire, the absurdity of empire is so clear in Afghanistan. $1 million per troop for 1 year to keep people in Afghanistan at a time when our economy is collapsing, unemployment at record highs, incomes going down, foreclosures and bankruptcies growing, and we're spending $1 million per troop, borrowed from China, borrowed from Saudi Arabia, to fight a war we shouldn't be in. Say no to that empire. Say no to that war. It's not good for our economy. It's not good for our law. Look at the torturers getting away with torturing with no legal challenges to them brought by the Department of Justice. At Voters for Peace, we're trying to bring torture accountability to those lawyers who abuse their law license to authorize torture, a war crime. Empire undermines law. Empire, say no to empire. And finally, empire undermines our democracy. At votersforpeace.us, you can take a pledge to say, I will only vote for anti-war candidates. That's the way to end empire. Demonstrate, vote, be active, say no to empire. Thank you all.
For peace and social justice around this country, I want to bring up Pam Africa from the International Concerned Family and Friends of Mumia Abu-Jamal. Pam Africa.
On the move. I know one thing, we got to be ready to march to continue to send a loud, strong message to this government. I want to bring a message about Mumia Abu-Jamal and about my family to move non-political prisoners. Mumia Abu-Jamal is facing two things within this government, so they think, but we can change all of that. They're saying that Mumia will get life in prison without the possibility of parole or a death sentence. Well, we're saying no to either one of them. We are not about compromising Mumia's position or our position for the rights of people who stand up uncompromisingly and don't suck up, bend up, kiss up to this government. What we're saying is Mumia should be released unconditionally with no strings attached, based on the fact that he's innocent and based on their laws as well. Because if not, they're going to find out the problems that they're causing. In fact, right now they're finding out. Because as they look and see all of us united together, because we understand war and we understand peace. We understand that the war is just not abroad, but the war is here, right here now. I want to point out too that it's 25 years since this government dropped a bomb, killing 11 black men, women, and children of my family. The 25th anniversary in Philadelphia, we're asking everybody to come out and say that we're opposed to war abroad and we're opposed to war here. Thank you. On the move. Continue to struggle, and let's take this mother sucker down.
Pam Africa. Brothers and sisters.